everyone. It's great to see all your faces. I think we have a few more people dialing in. Great. Well, this is our time for a spiritual mind treatment. So I'd like everybody to just kind of relax and don't mind the heater making noise because it's going to be warm. So let's just wiggle a little bit, take control of your seat, and close your eyes if you like to. Take a deep breath and leave all your concerns outside the back door. Let them blow away. Just be present in the now, right here, right now. And just know the I of whom I speak is you. There is only one spirit in this room, one presence, one life, God's life, right here, right now. And I am one with it. Source is unlimited, and I am one with this unlimited source. So I am prosperous and wealthy. I receive all forms of prosperity. I am abundance overflowing. I have money to share and money to spare. I am prosperous. When I turn to my body, my perfect health, I am healthy. My body is created from that perfect perfection, the human body. And I am filled with energy and light, and every cell is talking to every other cell and expressing energy. I have perfect respiration, perfect circulation, perfect all parts of my body are functioning in the highest and best order. I'm healthy. And I turn to my creativity. I recognize the creativity in the universe, the beauty of the flowers in the sky and the ocean. And I realize that I am beautiful, and I express my perfect gifts. I give them away. I am creative and creating in every moment. And lastly, I turn to love. I'm lovable. I'm loving. Just like a warm, fuzzy sweater, love envelops me and holds me close. I express this love from my beloved. I am love. And for this and so much more, I give great gratitude. I just know, I know it is, and I know that my word as spoken is acted upon. So I release, I let go. I know it's so, and I join you and join with me in saying, and so it is. So, good morning again, everybody.
Good morning.
It's good to see everybody. And right now we have, do we have music from Michael Paul?
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Well, this morning, good morning, everyone. Good to see everyone here. Good to be here. Good to be back. This next song is taken from the old tradition of the spiritual, which I'm going to do for you. It's based on the story in the Bible in John chapter 5, in the pool of Bethesda, where people who were invalid or crippled or blind, who had some issue in that pool, if that water was troubled, if you got in, if you were the first one to get in, you would be healed. And so people would have were really invalid, would have servants pick them up and be able to throw them in. And there was this one man who was there, who had been there, I don't know if it was for 38 years or he was 38, I can't remember, I don't know. It was 38 something. And he was, the Christ came to him and said, would you like to be healed? Because he couldn't get into the pool because he was so crippled and he didn't have a servant. And sometimes we think we don't have things we don't need, but the Christ comes to us and says, would you like to be healed? And if you say yes, you can be healed. So this story was based on that biblical text back in the day when there were slaves in this country, and so they would write this thing called wade in the water. It also has the meaning if you were trying to escape slavery, to get in the water so the dogs could not pick your scent up. So wade in the water. So the people, we know that John and Jane are running off. So make sure you get in the water because we hear the dogs are coming. So wade in the water. So it was a dual meaning. And so with that in mind, I wanted to share that with you. It's called Wade in the Water. Cause God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade gonna trouble the water. See that band all dressed in red. God's gonna trouble the water. It looks like the band that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. That band all dressed in red, God's gonna trouble the water. It looks like the band that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. I said wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water, 'cause God's gonna trouble the water. Yes, God's gonna trouble the water. For God's gonna trouble the water.
Also symbolic of source, and in French, source is water, is spring. Thank you. Well, welcome everyone. Again, I'm Reverend Maureen. If I haven't met you, please stay and see me afterwards and sign up on our newcomers sheet. We'd like to get your email and make sure we send you a newsletter. So, we believe there's a power for good in the universe, and we can use it. And where we come together to teach, to demonstrate, and inspire a positive spiritual approach to living. So I'd like to call up Pat Walker. Pat, not here today. Okay, do we have someone who would like to volunteer to do the other pass? To do the candles. Thank you. So these candles, these are symbolic, and remind ourselves of the underlying spirit in each of us and the unity of all. First, we light a candle for life. Life is everywhere present, flowing through each and every one of us. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life now. Please know with me and say, I am life. The second candle is a candle for love. The birth of love happens within each one of us every time we make room for the Christ consciousness in our hearts and in our lives. We are transformed. I am a point of love within the heart of God. Please know with me and say, I am love. Third, we light a candle for light. The light of God is the presence and power. We're always walking in that light. We radiate the light of God wherever we are. Please know with me and say, I am light. Fourth, we light a candle for beauty. We are made in the likeness and image of God. We are each whole, complete, perfect, and beautiful, just as we are. We accept the beauty of God's perfection in us now. So please know with me, I am beauty. We light the candle for joy. Joy is the very nature of spirit and the true essence of each of us. We celebrate the joy of our own rebirth in God consciousness. Please know with me and say, I am joy. We light the candle of peace. Today and every day we open our hearts to peace. We are each a center of peace for our world. Please know with me and say, I am peace. So finally, I just invite all of you to join me in taking a moment to recognize our own inner light that is always shining within us as we honor our own metaphysical path of wholeness, oneness, mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Thank you, Pat. Okay, let's see. We can do our announcements right now. This is our day for spiritual mind treatment. If you would like a spiritual mind treatment today, or you would like one through the week, we have a sign up outside where we can take your request and share it with other ministers and practitioners. Or you can ask one of us today, could I get the hand of the ministers and practitioners? We're here for you. Just grab us afterwards. We're happy. Oh, yes. Hi, Reverend Maddie. Welcome. And I'm going to be having another short workshop. If we don't have a lot of time because of our potluck, I'll give you the important information, and we're going to do one process on forgiveness, also known as radical forgiveness. So it should be fun. And I just want you to know this is a community-based spiritual center, and it takes a team of people. So I want to recognize some of our volunteers and helpers. Larry, thank you for videotaping. today as a greeter, and he's going to be a reader. And thank you to everyone also for bringing goodies today. And to Pat for these beautiful flowers. And Jan, who's working at the bookstore. Thank you, Jan. So we have our group reading in your program. If you'd like to join along, God is all, both visible and invisible, one presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect love and perfect abundance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect abundance. And now we have a group song, if you'd like to stand.
Yes, good morning, choir. Good to see you all. Hope you're in good voice this morning. No. So we're going to do, I'm sure you're familiar with this. I woke up this morning with my mind. If you received this paper, we're going to do verses 1, 3, and 4. Okay? We're not going to do 2. We're going to do 1, 3, and 4. Okay? And it goes something like this. I woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind set on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was set on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. That's good. Second verse. I'm walking and talking with my mind set on spirit. I'm walking and talking with my mind set on spirit. I'm walking and talking with my mind, and it was set on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Here we go. I'm walking up this morning with my mind, and it was set on spirit. I'm walking and talking with my mind, and it was set on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was set on spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Yeah. Thank you, choir. Beautiful, wonderful.
Thank you, Michael Paul. That was great. So, we have an inspirational reading from Robert Brown. Would you come to the podium, please?
And see, I think I overdid the large print on this one. So this reading is from Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, page 172. And Living the Science of Mind is a good thing to read especially when you're having trouble with the Science of Mind textbook itself. Because Living the Science of Mind is a little easier to read, and it basically brings the principles from Science of Mind into your life in various ways. So here's the reading for today, which was an attempt to fit in with Reverend Kate's talk title, which is It's Okay to Be Okay, basically. At the center of our being, there is a divine person, a unique incarnation of God. This is the source of all real inspiration. Here, and here alone, at the center of our being, is the real creative power. The question is whether we are living from this center, or whether we are thinking of ourselves as being detached, separated, divided, alone, and inadequate. We all have direct access to the infinite presence, the universal person. There could be no more beautiful thought than that the divine spirit itself, infinite as it is also within us. And with this acceptance of God, there must come an acceptance of the real self. That self which blossoms in our relations with others and finds fruit in its own action. And so it is.
So it is. Okay. We have another song.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to, all of you are certainly a bouquet, part of the bouquet of the love that I feel when I'm here. But there's one person in particular, two people in particular that are very special to me. You know who you are. I'm so glad to see you both. And so you ignite my spirit of love and kindness and joy. Thank you so much. Thank you. Some days we forget to look around us. Some days we can't see the joy that surrounds us. So caught up inside ourselves, we take when we should give. So for tonight, we pray for what we know can never be. And on this day, we hope for what we still cannot see. It's up to us to be the change. And even though we all can still do more, there's so much to be thankful for. Look beyond ourselves. There's so much sorrow. It's way too late to say I'll cry tomorrow. Each us must find our truth. So long overdue. So for tonight, we pray for what we know cannot be, and on this day we hope for what we still cannot see. It's up to us to be the change, and even though we all can still do more, there's so much to be thankful for. Even with our differences, there is a place we're all connected. Each of us must find each other's light. So for tonight, we pray for what we still cannot be, and on this day we hope for what we still cannot be. It's up to us to be the change, and even though this world needs so much more, there's so much to be thankful
I'm so thankful for you. Thank you. And this is our time.
Oh, I did it. One at a time.
Okay, I want to introduce our speaker for today, Reverend Kate. Is that one off in your hand? Oh, Michael Paul, I think you have to turn yours off. Michael Paul, I think you have to turn your microphone off.
It's me. Is that one on? Okay, everyone cover your ears just in case. Okay, yeah, it's too loud. Hey. How can you turn me down? I really like to be loud, but not that loud. I think that's okay. Is that okay? Yeah. Oh, good. Okay, good. Well, just let me know if it starts breaking your eardrums again. I'm just taking a breath here after that. Well, the name of my talk is It's Okay to Be Okay. And I think it's so interesting because we make up these names of our talks and then that's all the musician knows about what we're going to say, you know. So when you played Wade in the Water, That was so perfect. You know, and I love that song. It really brought tears to my eyes. It's just so, so beautiful. And what I love about it as far as our teaching is whether you look at it as biblical, where you are leaving behind illness and stepping into healing, or whether you use it as really the deep spiritual anti-slavery song it was, leaving behind your old life and stepping into the new life. It's just beautiful. It's so appropriate. So I'm really happy to have you here with us today, Michael Paul. It's great. So it's okay to be okay. Seems like such an obvious thing to say. Almost like, why are we even talking about it? Obviously it's okay to be okay, but I think we still need to talk about it. You know, we're such complicated creatures that even simple things can become convoluted and hard to understand sometimes. So I was listening to I think it was the radio, and they were talking about a recent study that they did where they questioned 17,000 high school girls about how they were feeling. And a huge percentage of them were feeling so depressed. Like they didn't even want to be on planet Earth anymore. It was so sad to hear about that. And it's kind of an undercurrent that I wanted to address today. This, how do we deal with being okay ourselves when there is so much going on around the world that we hear about, because we're very connected. So I realized from that, from things people have said to me, from other things that I've read, that I'm not the only person who is feeling a little overwhelmed by what is going on in the world today. And, you know, you could say a lot is always going on. I mean, obviously for us here in America, our lives are a lot better than they were, you know, back in the 1850s. They just are. And yet, even though there's always stuff going on, we just live in this moment. This is the moment we're experiencing. And it does feel like a lot is happening that is not under our personal control right now, in this moment in which we live. So everything's not under our control. What is under our control? What can we control in this situation? Well, in theory at least, the answer seems obvious. We can control ourselves, right? We can control our own thoughts, we can control our own words, we can control our own deeds, but in actuality, it doesn't always seem that easy to do that. We're very connected, and we're very responsive, and you know, there's so much going on. I think sometimes that trying to control my thoughts is like they say, trying to herd cats, you know? It's like, well, I know I should be thinking a happy thought, I should be thinking a grateful thought, but oh, wow, look at this. So I imagine that like me, you all have a goal of being calm and collected and organized and treating other people well and taking care of yourself and fulfilling whatever responsibilities you have. But in the day-to-day living, it can get a little chaotic. You know, I have a habit, maybe not the best, but it's mine, habit of watching TV in the morning. When I drink my coffee, I watch the news. And, you know, you could say that's kind of like turning my thoughts over to, you know, whoever's on the TV or whatever I'm watching. You know, and even if I don't agree with it, I see it, and so I'm prompted to think about it. Just like, you know, if you look out the window and it's raining, you're just gonna think about rain. It's natural. So when you see it, you do think about it. So when I see stories about earthquakes or tragedies or wars or even about miraculous recoveries and good things, that's what is top of mind. I think about that. You know, when I look at cooking shows, I think about cooking even if I don't have any plans to cook. And I think in a way that must be how animals respond to life. You know, when I get the leash out, my dog thinks he's gonna go for a walk. You know, if I go into the kitchen, my dog thinks maybe he'll get a treat. If I do turn on the TV, my cat thinks it's time to go sit on my lap. They're very, you know, what happens, they respond to. But luckily, we're not dogs or cats. We are humans. And so we actually do have an ability to be much more aware of our thoughts, which is good, because since we're so aware of everything, because my dog has no clue what's on TV. He doesn't even watch it if there's another dog on TV. But, you know, but as humans, we're just very, very tied in to everything. And so no matter what we do, even if you turn off your TV all the time, or you never listen to radio, or you don't call anyone on the phone, you're gonna know that there's stuff going on, because things happen to us personally also. You know, all of us, or someone that we're very close to, will go through some kind of a loss or illness or sadness. It's just the way it is. Stuff happens. Every day isn't necessarily a happy day. You know, so we do say in New Thought that, you know, we should have the goal of happiness, that we should be happy, that we have a right to be happy. But I want to say, some days it's okay to be okay. Okay is also good. To be aware that you're moving on, you know? We're wading through the water, we're going somewhere, and we're okay with that. I did hear on the radio a man who was in Turkey who his family had suffered the devastation of the earthquake. And the interviewer kept saying to him, she would say, well, how many people in your family died? Oh, 5. Well, where are you living now? Well, I'm living in a plastic greenhouse. There's no heat, but I have a blanket. And she kept saying to him repeatedly, how are you so calm? And he said, well, you know, I have food, I'm alive, you know, we saved a lot of our family, and I'm going to rebuild. This is my life. I'm okay. You know, I cried for the first few days, but we had to rescue people, and we did that. So he went through this experience, and it was his own experience, and he moved through it, and he seemed remarkably calm. I was kind of like the interviewer. Oh, you seem calm. Where we, on the outside, we keep getting bombarded by these terrible images, so we don't really get that sense of moving on until simply the story kind of disappears. And we don't know what happened next. Well, that's a little bit of an aside, but the fact is that if something is happening to you, to you yourself, or if you cause something to happen, then you can do all you can. You can ask for help, but you're the main character that is going through this. So you have to simply move through it as best you can. And this is where spiritual practices can really help, because it is important to calm down and see clearly what next. And I know, you know, as the example of the man in Turkey really demonstrated, when you calm down and you see clearly what next, it really helps to keep your spirit up and your strength up, so you can do what's necessary. But a lot of what we respond to isn't really happening to us or through us personally. There are people far away that we feel pretty connected to. And so when we hear about their suffering, we can feel it really strongly. So we can be affected by our own losses and challenges, but usually most of us are able to pull ourselves together and work through that. But sometimes, we can feel sympathy in both a happy way and also an unhappy way, because we're so connected to other people. So I wanted to share, this is on this topic, a few words that Reverend Carol Carnes sent out in her Valentine's Day vlog. It's on this topic from a very strong new thought perspective. She wrote, "We are inundated with shocking news, and it is easy to forget that everything reported is caused by the collective consciousness." That is what we teach. What about natural disasters? They are also the effects of how we live, how we treat the earth, and as Paramahansa Yogananda taught, from our inner unconscious turbulence. And certainly how we react to such things gives us a glimpse into our own perceptions. The first reaction ought to be a mental message such as, "All is well. Help is present. This too shall pass." I say that when I see a car accident. I cannot ignore the trauma, but I must also see a higher possibility. She goes on. The unaware will ask, what good does that do? Good question. Someone has to know the truth for us when we are enmeshed in challenge. If I can do more, I will. But the key to any great challenge is to immediately see through it to the wholeness matrix and know it is reasserting itself in that moment. Spiritual practice isn't just for the good times, nor is it selfish. It is preparation for the changing reality we all share. Always the one who can remember who we are in the midst of trouble is the person who is spreading love. And we would do well to take a minute every hour to see humanity living in loving relationships with all people, with nature, with the cosmos. It could be a simple affirmation such as, all the world is bathed in love. All the world is bathed in love. That's so simple. All the world is bathed in love. So, I think she's right. And when I was thinking about today, I was thinking about, we really are connected. So sometimes when I meditate, I'm feeling stressed. I'll imagine that I'm connected by imaginary strings to everyone I know. And then I'll sit and meditatively, imaginatively cut all the strings. But I thought today I would like you to just imagine for a minute. Have you ever heard of that? I don't know. It was really a couple of decades ago. This thing went around. It was called the 7 degrees of separation, and people said, I guess someone did some kind of research, and they took Kevin Bacon, the star, and they said, how many people would you have to go through? People who knew each other, who knew each other, who knew each other, who knew each other. How many people would you have to go through before you knew everybody in the whole world? And they somehow figured out, 7 degrees of separation. So I just want you to imagine for a moment everyone that you know, everyone you've ever met in your entire life. Just imagine, how many people is that? Obviously, you're going to include everyone in this room, but it's going to be everyone you met in every school you went to as a child, everyone you met, if you in your career, everyone you've ever met, just passing by. This is only your first degree. All of these people, and I know it's a lot. Then imagine that each one of those people, all of those people, who do they know? Who did they meet? Who have they been in contact with in some way in their lives? This is only the second degree of separation. Take that huge amount of people and you go out to the third degree. Take them, go out to the fourth degree, the fifth degree, all the way to the seventh degree. And it's probably true that you know or are connected to almost everyone in the world. It's an amazing thought in a way. You know, I just think, oh, I'm just like me in a bunch of string. How can I get untangled? You know? We are very close. You know, and some people say, yeah, you can do that with all the people that are alive today, but you can also go back. You know, I have a friend, and when she does her treatment, she always includes 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. Same idea. You know, we're very, very connected to each other. And so when we talk about the idea of unity, we're generally talking about we're one with Spirit. We have to also recognize that that's true for everyone, and that's why we're so connected. We really are connected to each other, and each other is also connected to Spirit. And so when Dr. Carnes says these things which we have no control over are a reflection of our collective consciousness, and so we should change our own minds and bathe the world in love, I'm just trying to demonstrate or give you some imaginary or visualization tools to work with so that you see that our individual thoughts do matter. Now, obviously, our actions matter also. And I know that everyone in this room is a giver and a sharer and a helper, and that is all good, but I also know that one person alone isn't gonna, I guess, you can say, well, certain prophets have really left a huge impact on the world. But basically, I know that while my actions may be limited to a smaller sphere of influence, let's say, my thoughts go straight into Spirit. And we're all connected with Spirit. And this is what the idea of the collective consciousness is. So she's right. What we need to do is to send love to each situation. So when I was learning to be a practitioner, like Larry and Robert are, and of course all of our ministers must be practitioners before they can be ministers, that one of the things that they taught us was what to do if you do watch the news and you see something disturbing. And basically that's it, to know the truth that good will unfold, that there is something better now unfolding, to hold the light, hold the truth for whoever is involved. And everyone can do that. You don't need to have studied for years to just think of people with love. It's a natural capability. We can all do that. We can all think conscious, healing thoughts on purpose. And when we do, it's amazing. We may be thinking about the other person, but we benefit. Because what we're doing is we're kind of like brightening our own light. So when we do healing for others with our thoughts, with spiritual mind healing, we too are being healed and brought back to a realization of this truth that we are life. Life itself, love itself. So our thoughts have an effect. So if you need another example, just think for one moment about Laughter. Laughter is contagious, right? Smiling is contagious. If you just see a perfect stranger and they smile at you, you're going to smile back. You know, you just do. It's contagious. Well, what about tears and pain? Honestly, when Michael Paul sang that song, the first song, I was like, oh, I don't want to cry in front of everyone. But, you know, it's like, and that's why I was saying something from the deep past can feel so real today. We can be so connected by a thought of something that happened long ago. It can feel like it's happening in the now. That's how connected we are. And so that's why I love the hopefulness and the moving forward that the song speaks to. Because hope and optimism are also contagious. When we feel hope, when we share, you know, feelings of happiness, whenever Maureen tells her jokes, it gets everybody laughing. It's contagious. I mean, it is. It's good. And there's so many little things that we do. Like, we're about, in a few minutes, we'll be breaking bread together. And that sense of just being able to be together is so, I don't know, it's enriching. You know, and I think, I was saying to Conrad earlier, just being separate during the pandemic makes me recognize how great it is that we can be together. It's really, really something to be grateful for. So, I don't think any of us are going to take it for granted in the same way that we might have in the past. So here's the thing, we're very united with each other, even though we're very unique or different and we're not necessarily, I mean, we're free. We can be who we want to be to a pretty strong degree. But I just want to remind everyone that two basic things about our teaching religious science. Ernest Holmes said, there is a power for good greater than you are, and you can use it. This is fundamental, basic truth. And his predecessor and one of his teachers, Emma Curtis Hopkins, said, we should each declare every day, there is good for me and I ought to have it. We can use it, we can have it, and it's actually our responsibility. We need to keep ourselves okay. We need to keep recentering ourselves, keep reviving ourselves, renewing ourselves, keep knowing the truth about ourselves, knowing that we are actually spiritual beings, and that our life is actually an outpicturing of the love of Spirit itself, because that gives us the strength to step into the waters of life, to send out that love and that hope, to keep on going. And to do this, we've got to know that we deserve good health, prosperity, and that it's our birthright, and that there is enough, and that gives us the strength to share not just our thoughts, but also to share what it is, our talents. You know, we say we share our what do we share? Yeah, whatever. Our treasures and our talents, whatever. Yeah, but we could share all of these great blessings that we have. So I don't know. I have a few pages more, but I'm not going to get off into talking about the sun god Apollo driving his chariot across the sky, and how we don't want to be fooled by old false ideas, that we want to stay with it and know the truth and allow ourselves to change and make progress and move through this world with joy because we are both the wanderers of the world and the wanderers of the world. And as Raymond Charles Barker said, I like living under a law of mental expansion in the creative process that is ever making new this great world of mine. I keep my curiosity alive. I do not know enough. I do not have enough. I am seeking and finding. I am knocking and the doors are opening. I love that he said that. Let's just remember that the doors are open now. We're in the flow of good. We are okay. It's okay to be okay. And as we are okay, we are sending the okay vibe out into the world. That's the way it works. And so it is.
So it is.
Check, yeah. Thank you for that. That was so wonderful to think about. Charles Barkley said that?
Raymond Charles Barker.
Oh, Charles Barkley. I just said Charles Barkley. That's pretty deep for Charles.
Charles Barkley.
I was like, whoa. Anyway, that was beautiful. I like that. Yeah, so, everything has a season, everything has a time. Show me a reason and I'll soon show you a rhyme. Cats sit on the windowsill, children fit in the snow. Why do I feel I don't fit in anywhere I go? Rivers belong where they can ramble, and eagles belong where they can fly. I've got to be where my spirit can run free. Gotta find my corner of God's sky. Everyone has a daydream, everyone has a goal. People like the way dreams have of sticking to the soul. Rain comes after thunder, winter after fall. Sometimes I think I'm not after anything at all. Rivers belong where they can ramble, and eagles belong where they can fly. I've got to be where my spirit can run free. Gotta find my corner of God's sky. Maybe some misty day you wake up and find me gone, and far away you hear me singing to the dawn, and you wonder if I'm happy there, a little more than I've been, and the answer will come back to you like laughter in the wind. The rivers belong where they can ramble, and eagles belong where they can fly. I've got to be where my spirit can run free. Gotta find my corner of God's sky. 'Cause rivers belong where they can ramble, and eagles belong where they can fly. I've got to be where my spirit can run free. Gotta find my corner. Yes, that's my corner. Oh, that's my corner of God's sky. I'm gonna find my corner. I'm gonna find my corner in God's sky. At CSL Carlsbad, at CSL Carlsbad, I'm gonna find my corner. Oh yeah, my corner. Oh yeah, at CSL Carlsbad. Does anybody know that center? Does anybody know that center? Ooh, gonna find my corner. Yes, I found my corner.
Okay. Oh, good. I'm not making a loud noise. Oh, feedback, I mean. So now is our time for conscious giving, and I think it's my time for conscious thanking. So I remembered it's time, treasure, and talent. So I want to thank everyone who's a part of this community for all you do in giving your time, your treasure, your talent, and today, your treats. So let's just, if you maybe you give through Venmo or send it in the mail or by a credit card, however it is, just take your contribution in mind as we know together that there is enough in this world, there's enough in our lives, there's enough for this center, there's enough good in this world, and we give thanks. That's the way it is, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So thank you, everyone. I'm going to close us out with a spiritual mind treatment, and then we'll all rise and sing the song that's on the back of your program. But before I do, I want to remind you that we've got our potluck today, so let's stay and have some fun together. And then afterwards, Reverend Maureen's going to give a short workshop on forgiveness. Now, forgiveness is kind of like stepping into that water, saying goodbye to the unwanted, setting ourselves free. So I know that everyone is really going to like it. These workshops have been fantastic. So I invite you right now, if you'd like, to just become very aware of yourself and who you are, and know the truth that there is only spirit. This is a spiritual, infinite universe, and that it is all good. It is all there is, and therefore each one of us must be some part of it. And I know that we live and breathe and have our being in spirit, and that spirit lives through us, for us, and as us, because spirit is all there is. And knowing this, that allows me in full faith to make this declaration on behalf of each and every person here, that we are right now perfectly okay. That we are on a path of joy, prosperity, and health that is unfolding in wonderful ways right now. That we are so strong in our knowledge that we are okay, that we are powerful, that we are connected to our source, that we are able to share our love with the world, and that this sense of love, this feeling of love, this knowledge of the truth that God is love, now radiates out from us in the same way that we release our breath, knowing that nothing is ever lost. Good is eternal, infinite, and in expansion. I know it is so. I turn this treatment over to Spirit, knowing it is already done. It's the way it is, and I invite you to close with me by saying, and so it is.
So it is.
So, want to rise?
Open your heart, open your heart. Let's try that again from the beginning. Open your heart, and your love run free, right over the ocean, right across the street. Let it flow like a river, and it fly like a dove, till your heart remembers you can't stop love. But once you get started, watch what it does. Till it go full circle, you can't stop love. Open your heart, and your love will run free, right over the ocean, right across the street. Let it flow like a river, let it fly like a dove, till your heart remembers you can't stop love. But once you get started, watch what it does. It'll go full circle, you can't stop love. But once you get started, watch what it does. It'll go full circle.